I used to get in trouble in school for drawing pictures of cars. So I've been a car junkie ever since I probably was old enough to know what a car was. I can remember being, I grew up in the panhandle of Florida. And I can remember being on the beach and some cousins came down. I probably wasn't 10 or 11 years old. And some cousins came down from the state of Missouri and we was on the beach, just boys playing on the beach, and he goes, "Wow, look at that." And I'm like, "What? What?" As the cars went by, "What car are you talking about?" He was talking about a girl. I was looking at the cars. Everything we do has an amazing story. For example, this chassis, it was built by Chuck. Chuck's our fabricator. This actually started life as a Honda CB, and Chuck highly modified it, turned it into a hardtail or a rigid chassis, hand built the sissy bar. We recently painted, actually we painted it last Friday. By this time next week, this will be a rolling chassis. In other words, the motor, transmission, the wheels, tires, handlebars, and forks will all be reinstalled. If you know anything about motorcycles, you can take a look at some of the welds and the fabrication. From about here forward is Honda, from here back is all custom Chuck. But I got started in it at a very young age. Worked on my first car and started the restoration of a 1950 Chevrolet truck. I moved up here in the late 80s, early 90s. Was involved in the shop early on. Went through the truck I drove up here, and it just one thing led to another. I have had jobs in the past, but I always had cars or trucks going on. My son and I, we tore into a truck for him when he was about 13. We took 2 trucks and made one. And when he was 16, it was his daily driver. So it's just something, I guess it's in my blood. Over here is the tank and fenders that go on that chassis. Chaston did some really cool pinstriping, and all of our pinstriping here is done with a brush, just like it was done back in the day. Reminiscent of the 50s. You know, when the guys came home from the war, a chopper started with a simple fact that they came home from the war and they took what they had and they started chopping parts off of it to make it go faster. And this is reminiscent of what they would have done. Here's a bike that we just have on display. This is actually my wife's bike. We don't ride it. But it's a 1967 Harley. It was kind of a barn find, if you will. We've gone through a few things, got it running. And I do get it out and ride it, and occasionally I'll take it to a car show with us. And it's just kind of cool having some old stuff around the shop. This is where I grew up in Panama City, Overstreet area, and this was the gas station, the old Gulf gas station. So this just brings back good memories. I used to ride my bicycle up there and get a soda and what have you. Bought gas from there several times. When you come in the front office, we try to have a feel that we're not just a typical fender bender shop. You know, we're a custom shop, and we try to put forth a feel that everything about us is custom from our work. Of course, even this TV show, I want you guys to get the feel of it, get the feel of the industry, and maybe even prompt you to get out and take a look at some of the older cars and go to some of the car shows. Our front office shows that. We've got automobile tags from 1925. Of course, we display some of the trophies we won at different car shows. We keep a portfolio out of all the builds we've done. So anytime you just want to stop by and see what we're doing, there's always somebody here to greet you. And speaking of somebody to greet you, is my wife. Yeah, we caught her working. What are you smiling about?
I greet people as they come in, tell them all about what we do here, things we offer. My car needed paint, and I had a neighbor friend who told me about, James, and so I came and it was just weird. It's been, history. So.
I'm Campbell's Customs Marketing Manager. So basically I focus on events that are going around town, places for us to be seen, how we can kind of get the name out there.
She comes up with new ways for us to reach out and let people know what we do. In fact, she's kind of responsible for this TV show. She does our website her and my wife work hand in hand on all the Facebook stuff and the Instagram, and she keeps me abreast of all the car shows. We try to go to as many car shows as we can.
I kind of introduced a little bit of social media to Campbell's Customs. Mandy and I had to teach James what a hashtag was, and different ways to kind of be seen, not only in our community, but kind of in the region, to kind of grow the Campbell's Customs name.
Yeah, I think we'll head back to the shop and take a look. Well, we're like a big family here, man. The guys you see today, we're like family. We sit down and eat together. We try to stay in touch over the weekend. Joe was at my house on Sunday, and we was talking about some antiques he had found, some old stuff he had gone out and found in the woods. So go down there and start tapping it. These right here, don't even try to dog them out. Stanley, he's been with me the longest. There's not much Stanley can't do. When he's just he's truly a craftsman. Well, we're in the shop now. We've got several different setups here at the shop. This is our body shop. This is where all the dirty, rough work goes on. Bondo and sanding, priming, tearing down, getting things ready to head more towards finish. Joseph's getting all the rough end work to this hood done. This particular vehicle we're doing in pieces. We do things a little different here. We're not a production shop, so things are done in pretty specific stages. This hood, like I say, is getting roughed in for Bondo and primer, and by the end of the day, Joseph's supposed to have this in primer, which will be the next step. The next step is what Stanley's working on. Stanley last week got the body work to this bed done. This is on a 1940 Ford pickup truck. The vehicles we work on are the age and what goes on with them. These vehicles have been touched hundreds and hundreds of times over the year, and when we open up a vehicle, we really don't know what we're getting into a lot of times. For example, this 69 Firebird behind us here is more of a total restoration. This one, we're at the stage now where we're about ready to pull the motor and transmission out, have it sent off and restored, and then this car will be moving on towards paint. This Impala is just past the three stages here. You've got rough body work, which is what Joseph's working on, finished body work, which is what Stanley's working on. This car has all the finished body work done to it. It's ready now for a coat of sealer to be taped up and head into the booth. And you can notice all the spots on the car. These were high spots and of course low spots, and if you could feel it, it's just as slick as glass. Most people look at us as a restoration shop or an old school car shop, and we are that. Most of our work is old restoration type jobs, cars that are near and dear to the people's hearts, or family members for that matter. But occasionally we do a hard hit collision, and that's this Impala sitting over here. This is a 2002 Impala. It's a hard hit car. Now, we do hard hit cars at our shop. We prefer the older cars. I mean, we built our reputation on restoration of classics, but when it comes to a late model car, a lot of folks will only trust us. And 9 times out of 10, the collision work we get, or the collision work we choose to take, is from a car that we have done restoration type work on. Now, this 2002 Impala, of course, will get 2 new doors. We're actually going to paint the whole car. We're going to spruce up the whole car, so probably about this time next month, this car will be rolling out of here. So we work on everything from brand new to, we've worked on brass era cars. If you noticed earlier today, we've got something in the shop from 1940, the 60s, the 70s, and 2012. So motorcycles, cars, we work on it all. This is the Corvette that we actually stole, and it's a great story behind it. You don't always get the opportunity to do that, but last December this car was red. It was in need of restoration. It's a convertible with a removable hardtop, 327 4-speed car. We've got a whole new interior for the car. Of course, it was red, and we took it back to its original color, Nassau blue. And it's a little dusty right now, but we're letting it go through some curing. We will sand and polish this car, and this car will be a sure enough head turner. We've gotten it running good. We've got the transmission out right now, waiting for the clutch to come in. All new brakes, shocks. I'm not going to tell you that this is a full-on restoration. This car really didn't need it. It was a good survivor car. We basically are just bringing it back to a condition that's going to be very acceptable. We've taken everybody through different phases of what we do here, from some rough body work, which was Joe working on the hood, some finish sanding, and Stanley's working on the 1940 Ford truck bed. We look at a car that's about ready to go to paint the Impala. We look at a hard hit car that we haven't even torn into yet. And this end of the shop is where our spray booth is, of course our mixing system. This is final assembly. When cars are ready to go home, they head through this end of the shop for cleanup, some any buffing and polishing. But let's go take a look in the spray booth. Tommy's getting the 40 Ford cab ready to spray this afternoon. This is our spray booth, and Tommy's in here working, getting this truck ready to spray. Now the bed of this truck is what you seen Stanley working on earlier. Tommy's getting everything taped up, and this truck's going black. So this truck will get a coat of sealer on it. This is all the body work is done. This truck will get a coat of sealer. Here at this shop, we de-trim everything as far as we can. So the hood's off the truck, all the emblems, all the door handles are off. I like to, when I paint a vehicle, and I do all the painting here myself, I like to make sure that when I'm done with your automobile, that you think it came from the factory that way. So everything that is supposed to have paint on it gets paint on it. We don't just tape up parts, we actually remove them. This is the tailgate and the hood and the cab. Now the bed will be sprayed, I'll spray this tonight, and the bed will be sprayed tomorrow. Black is one of the few colors that you can get away with that on. If a car is any other color than black or white, it must be sprayed at the same time. If you spray the red hood today and then the red tailgate tomorrow, regardless of whether that paint came out of the same can or not, it has a tendency to look different based on like humidity and temperature and stuff like that. It has a lot to do with the way paints lay and cure out. This car is a 72 Mustang. This car is going through a deeper restoration. Of course, when this car came, it was red, believe it or not, and it went back to factory color, which is this light harbor blue, I believe. We've put a new interior in this car, from carpet, seats, dash, and a new top. All we're waiting on this car is for the motor and transmission to come back. But all in all, this is a pretty neat build. This car will actually go to Germany. This belongs to a client that lives dual citizenship. He lives here in the States and in Germany, and he's going to ship this car to Germany for road rally things that he does over there. These two parts, this is about as small as job as you can do, but it is an important job, and the reason is this is a Harley-Davidson Roadster. It's a Roadster model Sportster. The gentleman brought just the back fender and one side cover. The rest of the bike is pristine, but he had a few scratches and a few dings on these two parts. So basically, I've had to match the color exactly to I think it's 72 Harley-Davidson. I've already painted the black, and now it's taped off to paint the charcoal color in the inserts. And then after I get those colors painted, Chaston will come pinstripe it, and it'll all be clear coated. So this is kind of a very small restoration going on for some motorcycle parts. But you know, it's important to the gentleman that it's done right, and granted, we're going to take every precaution we can to make it the way it's supposed to be. Now, this is the vehicle I really want you guys to see. This vehicle belongs to Warrior Golf Camps of America. They came to us. They're a nonprofit organization that takes warriors that have been wounded, takes not only them but their whole family, and teaches them to play the game of golf as a family unit. they put so much time and effort into what they do that my heart went out to them. It made me want to put forth the effort to really give them a vehicle that can stand tall to represent what they do, to kind of show off for them. Now, they said we want to hit the military theme on our vehicle, so we used desert tan. That's the color, just like what you'd see on a vehicle that's over in the desert representing, or our military is working out of. And he kind of gave me the freedom to hit a military theme but represent Warrior Golf Camps of America. So what we did was we had all their logos digitized. We've also taken, if you look at military vehicles, each military vehicle is labeled everywhere. I mean, they got labels telling you what gas goes in it and this, that, and the other. TP40 means the tire pressure on this vehicle should be at 40 pounds. What we did was we painted this on every wheel opening. Also on the door, Headquarters 06. So this is a general's car, believe it or not. The guy that runs this organization, this is the car that he drives to represent that organization. We blacked out the wheels. We did all the black work on the car, trying to give it that military theme, but still be a good daily driver. Of course, we labeled it for official use only. And a couple of different logos in different places. And we branded it. We even put our name on it. We were so proud of this one. What gets me excited about what I do is the person I'm working for. If you come here with a Yugo, everybody knows what a Yugo is, and you love that Yugo, I will love it back. I will love the Yugo for you, the Honda, the Chevy. I'm a Ford guy. You'll never know that. I get so passionate about these automobiles if the car owner is passionate. I can feel it, sense it, and we give that car just as much passion and love as the car. And that's what I always say. Every car has a story behind it. And hopefully in the future, I'm going to bring you cars and the stories behind these cars. You'd be surprised at what you find out. And you can get passionate about them too. And you will. I hope to share that passion with you.
About a shot dance.